on the way right now. Na'Vi taking on DK here in our final winners bracket best of three of the evening. And as we can see, DK for the second game in a row has no interest in allowing Din D to get his hands on a Pudge. The crowd here has gone crazy all night. We saw a very decisive victory for Na'Vi in game number one. DK, who performed so strongly in the prelims against most expectations, to be honest, going to be looking to reverse their fate. You're on camera. Make some noise. Come on. Let them hear you around the world, Seattle. I know they hear those horns. I've heard them all day long. Moving on into the game, pick ban already underway. And again, Na'Vi, the defending champions here, looking to hold their own. And Lycanthrope is going to make it through. Lycan given away. And then Na'Vi quite happy to take him, Draskell.
It's not often we get to see a Lycan played, and honestly, in this particular tournament, I don't think he's had the best success rate, but if any team can run it, it's going to be Na'Vi. And of course, when you do a respect ban just for Pudge, and especially the analyst Des Bruno letting us know that Din D has not actually lost the game with Pudge. So apparently, whenever you pick that, it's just 100% win. So if that's the case, of course I understand why you ban it out. But there are counters to Lycan in the pool. You have heroes like Beastmaster who shut him down when he pops his ultimate. No, max move speed or not, if you get roared, you're really not going to be doing a whole lot. And Lone Druid as well, he's very, very good against Lycan, especially during the mid game. So we'll see what DK is going to go with here. They might just go ahead and leave it open. I know a lot of the teams today have just been picking their supports first. Just keep things nice and easy just to pick up your carries last.
Speaking of counters and speaking of Lone Druid, a counter that we had talked about to Lone Druid also works on Lycan as well. That's the big Brewmaster, the big Panda. Anytime you're able to just rely on that split to keep a team fight going, to keep your own survivability up against the mass damage output of a Lycan who's going to be trying to tunnel vision everyone he can. And of course, the Storm aspect of Brew Split, able to take Lycan quite literally out of the fight for a number of seconds. Sometimes that's all you need to turn a fight. Windrunner and Prophet, two denizens of the woods. Team Green so far for DK.
Definitely picks that'll keep you wide open. I mean, right now, because of the fact that they picked up a Windrunner too, we could be saying another long DD support Windrunner because of the fact that Nature's Prophet is typically going long lane for most teams. He could jungle, I suppose, as well. Get to see a couple more picks to be 100% sure, but Leshrac coming out for Na'Vi, and that's another hero that adds a tremendous amount of push, and I'm really thinking that after these two picks especially, they're just going to be looking to pressure mid-game.
Oh yeah, whenever you see Lycan Leshrac picked up, all that screams. There's a lot of scared towers on the map right now. Don't want any part of that. Oh, I love what is happening with Na'Vi right now. You want to talk about aggression? Let's talk about a Lycan and his damage output. Once he hits level 6, he can run around. He can pick up a medallion if he wants, look for kills, or he can go Necrobook. He can work with Leshrac and Sand King during the laning phase. You've got Burrow Strike with the follow-up of Split Earth, and yet Na'Vi is still very, very open. We could have a lane Lycan. That's not completely unheard of at all, or we could just see him in the jungle like is so typical. Na'Vi with 3 very strong picks keeps themselves wide open. We see Morphling picked up from DK, and when you want to talk about strong picks, it doesn't get much stronger than that, Draskell.
Burning on Morphling, we've seen it time and time again, and as the analyst desk pointed out, it's like if you put Burning on a carry and he actually gets the start that he wants, it's a viable strategy, man. The guy is a heck of a carry player, but for Na'Vi, I'm thinking we might actually see the return of a jungle Lycan. They have a Leshrac Sand King. If they want to put that mid, have a solo bottom, and then have Lycan in the jungle and a solo top, it could potentially work out. They'd still be able to keep him relatively safe. Lycan's a hero who's so dependent on getting his start. And if he doesn't get what he needs during the early game, his mid-game suffers tremendously. And when you're up against heroes like Nature's Prophet, you don't want to suffer at all during the mid-game.
Speaking of junglers, Enchantress is still in the pool. She could potentially work again for DK. So very, very wide open right now. Prophet, I mean, it is not, it used to be moderately common to see Prophet played out of the jungle at a tip-top level. That went out of style months ago. But this is the International. We could see a resurrection of that kind of a strategy just to throw off another team or to try and throw some kind of a curveball. These teams are going to be bringing out everything they have, looking to advance one round deeper into the guaranteed money and one round deeper into this winner's bracket. Ban's going to be finished up for Na'Vi. They won no part of Tidehunter and Shadow Shaman. And I'm like you. You and I always harp on and on about this. Shadow Shaman is so strong in so many phases of the game, especially when you're talking an Asian team like DK, who is going to favorite. The Asians just love that hero, and you can really screw up a lot of game plans by taking him out of the pool.
It just really solidifies their timing window. They don't want to let it go past mid-game. Lycan is a hero who does scale relatively well in the late game because of the fact that he has a built-in crit with his ultimate, and of course he has Feral Impulse, which gives you a percentage of attack speed and some extra damage. But banning out Tide and Rasta, those are two mid-game giants. I mean, you have Ravage, you have Mass Serpent Wards. You don't ever want to try to push into either of those abilities, so this just goes to show that Na'Vi is going to want to pressure during the mid-game by banning those out. And banning the Brood, looking at the lineup again from DK, if they wanted to, they could have sent the Windrunner against it like we saw in game number 1, but that didn't end up working out for them too well.
Yeah, game number 1, a bit of an understatement. DK off to a slow start, and Na'Vi basically took whatever was given to them, which was early first blood, a couple of kills as well, and they never really looked back. From that point on, it was all Na'Vi all the time. It was just a matter of when Na'Vi wanted to end that game. DK, though, we've seen do that to many, many teams over many, many tournaments we've casted this tournament, Draskell, or casted this team, Draskell. So that's not something, it's not as if they're completely skill difference here. Na'Vi got the best of game number 1, but DK with all the tools in the toolbox to get back on track in game 2. Na'Vi gonna pick up Enigma. Yeah, little mid-game strong, I think. I think that's what Enigma brings to this, little mid-game strength. Lycan, Leshrac, Sand King, and Enigma. Those 4 alone would be scary to push into with any other 5 heroes.
They're picking probably some of the strongest mid-game heroes that aren't actually already banned out. So right now, Na'Vi is going to be ridiculously scary at anywhere from about 15 minutes onward. And wow, we're going to see an Earthshaker for the first time, I believe, today, picked up here by DK. And that's one of the best defensive stunners, especially against heroes like Enigma. You can sit in the far back. You can protect heroes like Burning, allow him to get his farm on that morph, and kind of solidify yourself a bit of an early game. But honestly, with the mass amount of stun, I mean, you have Malefice, you have Sand King with Burrow Strike, you have Leshrac with Split Earth. If they catch you and your Earthshaker isn't around, you're not dying.
Puck gonna round things out for Na'Vi, and if there were any questions, they're answered, at least for this audience. Na'Vi wants to put game 2 in the books as quickly as possible, picking more mid-game aggression. But I'll tell you, man, I'm still extremely excited. Long DD will be running that Earthshaker, and I am going to be smiling like a child the entire game. Long DD with big plays, and seeing him on an Earthshaker means we're going to see a lot of fun stuff early.
Well, again, picking Puck last, it just signifies like they are not willing to let this go past probably the 30-35 minute mark. I mean, they want to fight. They want to apply as much pressure as they can, try to put DK on the back foot. Game number 1, they succeeded in shutting down Burning's farm, and we saw the outcome. And Pugna going to be the last pick out from DK. I actually love that because of the sheer amount of mana that Na'Vi has to spend basically to engage into team fights. It's great against heroes like Enigma, Leshrac, even Puck to a certain extent. I mean, that is a very, very difficult hero to push into.
For battle.
Yeah, the Pugna pickup. That's going to throw a wrench in everything Na'Vi's up to. Not to say it's going to derail it, but it's going to make things a little bit more difficult. Let's run through our lineups. The side of DK, Burning, wearing the sweet Morphling armor, going to be running on the Waterman. Earthshaker, oh wow, handled by Zippo. I'm heartbroken. Long DD playing our Prophet. Windrunner, going to be played for the 2nd game in a row by ROTK, and Super will be handling the surprise 5th pick in Pugna. Good manner all around. Let's check Na'Vi. Puppy will be playing our Lycan Sand King. Going to be handled by Havost. Puck, played by Dindy. Enigma, going to be played by Light of Heaven. And AA playing our Leshrac.
Not really sure how the lanes are going to
30
shape up
seconds
just
to
yet.
battle.
Of course, they're going to be protecting Burning, so I'm assuming it's going to be a tri-lane. Just want to know if it's going to be aggressive or defensive. I think after losing game 1 in the manner that they did, they're probably not willing to send Burning to the long lane twice in a row because starting 0-2 in the first 4 minutes of the game is not the kind of start you want for your carry player. Not saying that would have happened regardless, but right now Na'Vi using some Wolves from Lycan to go ahead and scout out what the lanes are actually going to shape up to be. And it actually looks like we might be seeing almost a 2-1-2 here. Of course, Windrunner Shaker is a lane that goes way, way back. We'll see if DK wants to keep these lanes.
Invisibility.
Horn blows and we're underway. Zippo picks up an Invis rune. Chasing out, getting a little vision. Is just going to go ahead and move in this general direction. He's going to spot Lycan in the Wolves here. And he's just going to block the camp. Also going to toss down the ward. Zippo's going to be spotted. Oh, good blocking with the Wolves. Delays him a little bit. He's still in no man's land. This is not a comfortable place to be. Drops down another ward. Zippo might get caught out. Arzart bringing up the rear. Puppey blocking him with the Wolf. Does it buy enough? Oh, beautiful fissure. Buys him just enough time, but still not out of the woods. Finally, they're going to leave him alone as he munches on a tree in celebration.
This hurts Puppey a lot, though. They actually sentryed the big camp and basically between the small camps, so neither of them are going to spawn. That's going to slow his jungle a little bit. And he got Centaur spawns. That's probably the worst luck possible that Puppey could have started with. He should still be able to do it. It's just going to slow his early game a lot. And instead of just going ahead and putting the dual lane mid, Na'Vi goes ahead and puts their Leshrac Sand King bottom. It's still going to keep Lycan relatively safe. They just actually want to put him closer to the double stun.
Yeah, right now, ROTK and Zippo. Certainly ROTK's got a good way to get out of trouble. But we're talking a Sand King with a Leshrac, with a Lycan, within shouting distance. That's a lot of damage. And there we go, Burrow Strike on Zippo. Follow-up Split Earth. Here comes Puppey, TP in from Long DD. Who's going to get it? It's going to be Shaker that drops for first blood. Long DD taking damage, as is ROTK. Arzart's going to be careful. He's low. Good Split Earth. Connects on Windrunner. She's going to be able to Windrun forward. Looking for, oh, power shot. Just off the mark. Back at top. Puppey in trouble now. He's going to drop. Zippo back in time with the follow-up fissure. So Na'Vi looking good, but hung around a little too long. Let the Shaker respawn. It's never a good idea.
Extending a team fight when heroes are level 1 is definitely a risky play. He had enough money to sell his TP after selling some of his inventory items. The poor guy's only got one branch now. He used his last clarity to get back and ensure a kill on Puppey, but I think getting 2 kills for the first blood, that is the exact opposite of what we saw in game number 1. This time, DK coming out slightly ahead.
See Long DD setting up shop here in the jungle. At the top lane, Burning versus Light of Heaven. And Burning getting the best of this exchange, sitting on 16 last hits to the 3 of Enigma. So a lot of struggles in store there. Let's take a look at Dindy. Dindy holding his own in mid, 8 last hits to the 11 of Super. Both just kind of going back and forth. We'll wait to see what the story's going to be there in the long term. We see Puppey counter warding now. Should help him get back on track and where he wants to be.
Well, middle lane's going to be kind of a wash. Pugna should come out a little bit ahead in the CS department. His animation's a bit better, his face damage is a bit better, but on the other hand, Dendy's never going to really eat Nether Blast at all. He has phase shift. It's pretty easy to see when the animation's actually going to go off. If you want to try to cancel cast to be annoying, I'm sure he could do that, but both of them just going to be able to farm up. And honestly, DK's lanes right now, they're looking pretty strong.
Burning hanging out. DD back in his own jungle, not taking up Radiant jungle anymore. Puppey still just banging away. Windrunner was ROTK, living on the dangerous side. You were opining with great wisdom. She took a lot of damage, almost dropped, but managed to survive. In the meantime, things kind of settling down a little bit, not quite as active as we saw in game number 1, but bottle crowing going on, and I'm sure that's going to change again when you're just talking about the pure lane strength of these 2 heroes in particular. Leshrac put together with Sand King, and of course, the damage output that we're going to see when Lycan joins up. We're going to see a lot of action. The reason you pick these 2 heroes and lane them together is so you can absolutely dominate right around 10 minutes.
That's definitely going to be their goal, and honestly, DK needs to get ahead in the early game because the mid game from Na'Vi is so ridiculously strong. I mean, R2K is going to be in some trouble bottom, some more body blocking going on by Havos. Don't think he's going to be able to get in range for the follow-up stun. The River's popped as well. Barely gets away.
The top side, Dindy was in a little bit of trouble, it seemed, as well. Managed to make it back to safety. So a lot of close, but not quite. Horseshoes and hand grenades right now.
As Puppey farms up, he's going to recover quite nicely. Lycan's one of the fastest junglers in the game, basically. Once he gets a handful of levels, level 3 Wolves is really where he starts to tear through it. Oh, and looks like Sand King gets a kill bottom lane on ROTK.
Big fissure there as well. Just what Na'Vi needed. And this is what they, it's not even that this is good for them. This is what they have to have, given their lineup, given that they've picked basically pure mid-game strength. When you have these 2 strong heroes that you spent such early picks on, you have to get the most out of them. This bottom lane should begin to feel more and more like a death trap anytime anyone shows up, and that's a good example of it right there.
Well, as long as DK continues to try to get ahead in any manner that they can, really the story right now is Morphling, basically doubling the CS of Light of Heaven in the top lane. He is struggling a lot more than I thought he would. I mean, that's Enigma with conversions getting out CS by burning. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
That's pretty top-notch carry. Arzard now using Edict. He's skilled 2 points into both Split Earth and Edict, picking up what CS he can in the jungle. Just look at all the wards here in the Dire side jungle. Both teams assigning an immense amount of importance here, of course, because of Lycan and just because of how important the success or failures of this bottom lane is going to be, especially for Na'Vi, but DK as well. You can't just have the Shaker Windrunner lane just lose outright. As easy as it is to stay alive with those two, you can get kills as well. So they can't afford to just lose it entirely, and at the moment, they're keeping it about as close as anyone could expect. But yeah, I agree with you completely. Top, you're talking about the CS of Light of Heaven. It's a problem. It's not where it should be. Soul Ring might help out a bit.
Middle tower
We'll have to wait and see.
Well, he's managed to deny quite a bit of creeps, which is helpful. It's slowing him down a little bit, but in reality, Light of Heaven can't really do anything at this point. He's using his conversions to try to harass. Burning's taking quite a bit of damage from it, but like I said, DK needs to get ahead here. If they break even, it's ultimately going to put them behind in the mid game because Lycan is getting his farm now. He's already caught up to level 6 at just 6 minutes in with his camps being warded at level 1. So that just goes to show the strength of a jungling Lycan and why they wanted to put him here in the first place. So they're still on track with their mid game. I think that it's going to be really, really strong, and DK might have a problem with it still.
And we'll see what direction Puppey wants to go with the build. If he wants to go ahead and get a medallion or just rush straight for Vlad's. In the meantime, though, continuing to just hang out. Level 6, we'd expect to see some aggression, but he's not willing to reveal it quite yet. Super back here in mid, takes a little damage from the orb. But yeah, this is another game where you just get the impression it's the calm before the storm. And speaking of, ROTK is go! Gets the last little bit of win run. Survives with 21 CS. Zippo able to help chase him out. And yeah, little parting shot from ROTK. About as fortunate as it gets in timing there.
Well, unfortunately, when you start your attack animation is when it registers if Windrun is going to save you or not. And since it was already active, man, top lane, Light of Heaven, a lot of trouble. Sprout's going to go off as well, but he's actually walking away. Is he really going to live here?
He's making his way to the north. Sprout, he gets his way out immediately with the tango, heading for the shop. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? There's the waveform. Burning. Able to seal the deal, and in the meantime, this is kind of what we had to expect. Looks like on bottom, Leshrac gets a kill on Shaker. We'll see if Avost and AA want to push. DK running his 3 now in top. Super is joined up with Long DD and Burning CS. Quite solid, 38. And when you compare that to Lycan and Prophet, for example, it's a little bit bloated in the case of the junglers because they kill so many small creeps. So he's actually quite far ahead in total gold gain from CS. Here comes a response. Dindy's there. They lose the tower.
Has fallen.
And Lycan's Wolves moving on, Burning. Oh, they may realize he's there. There was a bit of a stutter step on Long DD. Dindy just nukes him and immediately flashes, uses Ethereal Jaunt, gets a free kill, and now heads back home to celebrate.
Those are the kind of kills you want to get whenever you can, and Puppey is actually going for Medallion first. He's not going for a Vlad, so he's going for pretty much, I'm going to try to team fight as soon as I can, apply more pressure. Medallion does help you jungle a bit faster once you get your wolves up because of the minus armor. I mean, he's actually just jungling in DK's jungle at the moment. He doesn't even care. He's like, you know what, I'm already here, might as well go ahead and just farm up. The only thing he's going to find is a Nature's Prophet, and since he already has a Quelling Blade, he doesn't really have to worry about Sprout or anything like that. And Na'Vi is doing a pretty darn good job in the early game, and for DK, that's scary, man. Like I was saying earlier, if you let this early game go out of your favor, then mid game is going to be almost impossible.
Zippo avoids a little damage on the low ground, manages to keep himself alive. Tell you one thing I'm not a fan of. Not a fan of at all. Long DD has opted to go Midas first, which is fine in most circumstances. But when you're looking at Na'Vi's lineup, what I'm not thinking about is how long it's going to take for that Midas to pay for itself. I mean, there are only so many options, but for the gold spin on that, I just worried that as it was going to be tough on DK to hang and bang in the mid game against this composition as is. Now you have a Prophet that has a item that does nothing for his team at all.
It is a little bit of a risk, but the nice thing about Furion, and I might have to hold that thought because ROTK is going to pop the win run here mid, could have a fight on our hands.
We got a TP coming in, moving through the river. There's the orb. Oh, and ROTK's caught, uses a shackle shot. Dindy is go. Oh, wow! Manages to dodge the power shot. ROTK somehow still alive. There's the orb. Are you kidding me? Oh, so close. Dindy showing us you can carry with puck.
Oh, he just died to Roshan. Oh, no. Roshan too strong in the International, too. He wants a chance to win as well.
I mean, as many times as he dies, I wonder if they cut him in on some of the prize money. Somebody ring up Gabe. Send him an email. Tier 1 is going to drop here in mid. DK
middle tower has fallen.
moving down mid lane. Is burning, I should say. The rest of the team breaking and heading towards top. Let's take our first look at the gold graph. We can see it is favoring the Dire side. So DK currently at the advantage. The question is, when Lycan gets the medallion and becomes more active, is that going to continue to be the case? Something medallion helps with as well, aside from just jungling. Vlad's is still needed, but it makes doing Roshan at the early levels so much easier. So that's something of which DK is going to have to be very, very conscious. Moving now to the tier 2 top. Dendi, Light of Heaven are there, waiting on reinforcements. Here come the Wolves, move out, and the Eidolons as well. Havost and AA looking to find somebody. Here goes the orb. Oh, he's going to catch Super. Super's going to be stunned. There's the Burrow Strike that catches 2. Big follow-up, Black Hole as well. DK caught out completely. Na'Vi continues to pour it on. It's like game 1 never ended.
That decision-making from Havost was some of the best I think I've ever seen. He's like, you know what, I could kill Pugna, but instead, I'm just going to kill your carry and an Earthshaker and basically prevent you from being able to defend this push top. Absolutely superb play right there from Na'Vi in that team fight.
And Na'Vi has flipped the switch. Moving around, looking for more action, looking for more fights. They'll continue to farm some, I'm sure, but right now they're thinking nothing but blood. Puppy setting up shop in the Dire side jungle. He's got the medallion up and ready. Power shot. Clears a hole for our TK. Says, yeah, I want to check. I want to see what's down here. I want to do it safely, so I'll just power shot. It's fine. And finally, they're going to clear out. But yeah, we can see that gold lead for DK beginning to reverse its course.
And this is what we talked about early on. I mean, it's getting to that 15-minute mark, and that's usually where you see a lot of aggression coming out from just a team with a Lycan. But this isn't just a team with a Lycan, it's a team with a Puck, a Lycan, an Enigma, a Sand King, and a Lesh. All heroes who have ridiculously good mid-game.
Zippo thinks about it, stutter steps it, and he is going to throw it out. Havost in some trouble. Puppy on the low ground. Havost is going to drop. Puppy reverses course, decides not worth doing. Now we see AA picked off as well. Didn't see where it happened. Looks like it was bottom lane. Burning with a haste rune. Long DD is there as well. Prophet pushing through. Looks like they want the tier 1. We'll see if there's going to be any reaction from Na'Vi.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Tower's
attack.
pretty low. Burning sitting on 56 CS right now. He and Pugna fighting it out for top spot. That's where the majority of DK's gold lead has come from. We're all knotted up in kills. DK
Radiant's
going to
bottom
take the
tower
tier 1
has
bottom.
fallen.
But that, again, is where the majority of DK's gold lead has come from, just superior farming to this point. We're at 13 minutes, and this is when Na'Vi's team, their composition, has to begin to peak, Draskell.
Well, they've done a really good job, DK has, of just ensuring that people are spread apart when they try to gank and split push and things like that. I mean, Sand King getting caught middle lane, then bottom as well, losing Leshrac like that, and they get a tower out of it. That's the kind of thing that they can't allow to happen, because as strong as their mid-game is, if the supports get too far and they get too much map control taken away from them, then their mid-game strategy is basically going to miss its timing window. Like, this is the point where they need to start grouping up and start fighting as 5, and they know that now because they're all up top right now looking to push the tier 1.
Tier 1 under assault. DK spread out, mostly towards mid. Tower drops immediately. We knew that was going to be the case. Whenever they decide to start pushing towers, if DK's not ready to immediately react, there's not going to be any chance for a second thought. Split Earth buys a little time here at the tier 2. Na'Vi pushing through to the tier 2 at top as well.
Dire's top tower
Glyph is
under
popped.
attack.
Just basically creeps right now. Burning making his way there. There are 3 members of Na'Vi. They don't spot him. Tier 2 mid. Down to just about deny range. Not quite there yet, but down about as low as you could ask for. Puppy there to fend off the Barbarians. DK is playing this remarkably well right now. Na'Vi has shown their strength. Amazing plays in that top lane engagement. But DK is keeping Na'Vi on such a back foot that Na'Vi can't really group up to pour it on as much as they would like to at this stage of the game.
Well, DK's team is quite good at pushing. I mean, they have a Pugna, they have a Nature's Prophet, they have lane spammers and Morphling and Windrunner. And because of the fact that the Nature's Prophet is going for an Ags build on top of his Midas, he's looking to just keep the lanes as far away from their towers as they can. And this is a method that you can use to deal with mid-game aggression. It's just if you always make sure that your lanes are pushed out ridiculously far, there's never really an opportunity for Na'Vi to group up as 5 and push, because if they do, then your other lanes are going to get punished for it. And that's what DK has basically been doing the entire time.
Zippo spins a fissure, doesn't touch Dindy because it's Dindy. AA there with Puck. And yeah, I mean, this is a really, really solid example of why mid-game aggression can't be your be-all, end-all. We're seeing the downside of it right now. Yes, it's great in team fights. Your push is even solid, but you still can be outmaneuvered. And that's what DK's doing right now. Havo's trying to punish the Treants, picks one off on the backside. Burning, farming himself up. 80 CS, 18 last hits at 16 minutes. Now, we'll see what actually, never mind. He already picked up the Ghost Scepter, so we know exactly what he's going to be doing. He wants to have that shotgun damage to deal with what Na'Vi's going to be bringing to bear in this mid-game section.
Going for an Ethereal Blade first, honestly, I feel is a bit of a risk, although then again, if he gets caught in the black hole, even with the BKB, he's going to be taking a lot of damage. They have a Lycan, and that hero, I mean, just with no items, basically, and just as Wolves out with his ultimate on, he can kill you with the BKB relatively fast, so we'll see. And DK looks like they actually want to try to push down middle lane right into a 5v5 against Na'Vi, and that's going to be a little bit risky. They do have Pugna Ward, which is really, really good as long as you can put it in a spot that it's not going to get picked off, but we'll see if Na'Vi can actually beat this.
Here we go. Tier 2 tower, not much health left to it. Backdoor protection keeps it up for a little while. We're seeing fortification on Dire's side already. Most applying a little pressure. Yeah, they're just going to take the tower and back out. Again, very patient play here out of DK. As patient as you could possibly ask for. Only one tower killed by Na'Vi to this point compared to the 1, 2, 3, 4 towers that have been brought down by DK. And the gold graph tells a similar story. That's basically the difference in the score right now.
Well, DK is continuing to do a nice job of just kind of pulling Na'Vi apart. Their strength really lies when they get 4 or 5 heroes together, and then they can actually try to take a team fight. But DK is not giving them the opportunity. They're just all over the map. They're pushing towers when they can, and they're always making sure that Burning is somewhere off, farming safely in a lane that he knows that no one's going to be coming to, because if you look at the wards right now, they're crazy aggressive wards. They're seeing everything in the jungle, so he knows exactly when and where everybody is. But on the bright side for Na'Vi, Sand King just picked up his Blink Daggers, so that's going to be good for the next couple of team fights.
Yeah, I mean, Sand King has been active, but we haven't seen the big epicenter. We got the big black hole. Still looking for the big epi. And Dindy, of course, with his unbelievable skills at initiation. But really, this is as good as they can do in a team fight. If DK is the one setting the pace, it defeats the purpose of having a team like Na'Vi drafted. The idea of having a team with a Lycan, a Lesh, a Sand King, is so you constantly have the other team, the opposition, on the back foot, fearing what you're going to bring to bear. If they're confident enough to push into you and they can force reactions out of you, you lose that moment of chaos, that utter moment of terror that you usually get out of these mid-game oriented, kill-oriented squads. And DK is just playing without fear right now.
Middle lane.
Middle lane, looks like we're going to have a bit of an engagement. Morphling picked off, and that's actually quite huge for Na'Vi. They're going to lose their bottom tower. Now the TPs, coming into mid. Na'Vi moving up to the tier 1 mid. They are going to be pounding on it.
Middle tower is under attack.
And they're going to bring it down. And there's a shackle shot out of the blue, doesn't latch. DK anticipating more push. Moving back to the tier 2 now. Na'Vi is yet to abandon the lane.
Radiant's bottom tower
Dindy and AA are both smoked up. We'll see where they want to head. Right now, DD's down there. But there's a shackle, hits 2 Eidolons. ROTK, 4-staff to safety. And now here comes the epicenter. Catches ROTK, and look at the damage dealt to Super as well. Burning's there. Dindy's right on top of him with the silence. Not going to let him morph the strength. Big catch. Super trying to stay alive. Fissure buys a little bit of time. But Na'Vi and DK going to be able to part ways without a whole lot of blood spilled. So they managed to get the Windrunner, but the arrival of Burning after the pickoff, Na'Vi waited just a little too long to try and push down mid.
Well, they still managed to secure a kill. It was really nice epi timing coming out of the Sand King. Forced him back. Waited until he actually used his Force Staff to ensure that he was going to land his Burrow Strike and she would take the full damage, because if she had gone in, basically, and Winrun was still up, you can basically walk away from an epi with Winrun at level 1. So it was really, really nice timing. They managed to get another kill, but unfortunately, they just don't really seem to be able to apply too much pressure to towers at this point. And I'm really not even sure, now that Nature's Prophet's got his Ags on top of that, that is so much counter push. Not only that, but Pugna has pretty much been the pick that is keeping them in this game as much as it has. I mean, even if he didn't get the greatest start, he is so good at counter pushing. You fight on top of another ward when you're Navi's team, and it's just a disaster. It's so, so hard to do.
Navi, gonna be in the dark here. They don't have a ward anywhere near Roshan. But of course, if everyone disappeared, they gotta be thinking it. Dindy moving his, looked like he was gonna jaunt to the orb, but not do so. DK's gonna take Roche. He's down to about a third health. Na'Vi is smoked up. We'll see if they can get there in time to catch him on the way out. No way they prevent Roche from actually dropping. Down goes the big guy. It's on Burning. Let's see if they're going to engage, and they are. Dindy moves in. Here come the Wolves. Havos is there, catches 3. Big Black Hole catches 3 as well. Super ROTK and Zippo all locked down. Burning made it to safety. Na'Vi lets the Ancients go, but they get 3 kills and now likely to get a tier 2 tower.
That's the kind of initiation that we were looking for. Whenever you have a coil catch 3 right off the bat, allows for the follow-up coming out, Light of Heaven with a nice hole and everything. I mean, that was pretty much perfect coming out of Na'Vi. They did give away Roshan, but I think they're going to make up for it. I mean, killing 3 heroes, killing a tower, and because of the fact that they killed a couple of high-priority targets, they killed Pugna as well. That's a pretty big exchange. They might even be able to get away with farming a little bit between the times they can actually push out. But, I mean, that's a fight that you really can't be too dissatisfied with if you're Na'Vi.
Yeah, best of a bad situation. See, as you pointed out, I mean, the Ags on Prophet and just the way the hero works, the lanes are going to stay shoved. Dindy has to react to top, down on bottom, Havos dealing with the push there. Na'Vi, I mean, they're making progress, but again, what we have not seen, despite what the kill score would lead you to believe, we have not seen that mid-game dominance quite yet. Now, Burning still lacks his Ethereal Blade. He's not too far away from it, though. In fact, he's going to have it, no doubt about it. So they're going to have to deal with Burning shotgunning immediately. Right now, their window of opportunity is to try and bring down Burning using the silence, making sure he can't morph the strength, get the Aegis off of him, and do it all over again. This is when they need to do it, before he starts building those tanky items, before he gets a Manta, before he gets a BKB, before he gets a Scotty. They need to get him now. Looks like Puck's going to end up getting another kill down in the river.
And DK looks like they're going to continue to push top, going for the tier 2, even without their Earthshaker. This is a little bit of a risk. I mean, obviously, when you're 4v5, of course, that's going to be a risky situation. But Havos does have a TP. Denny's going to be up there, too, with a double damage. Are they going to defend this or not? They're going to pop up the Glyph. We'll see if they go for it.
And Light of Heaven leads the way, throws out the Malefice. Here's Arzard, moves out with the big Edict. He's taking a lot of damage, but dealing it, too. He's going back and forth, manages to almost chase down a kill on the backside. Sprout on Puppey. Light of Heaven still there. Black Hole not even close to up. They move out to defend. And Dindy able to get yet another kill. He's going to phase out. Burning's going to wait. And finally pick him off. Havos alive for the moment. They do end up losing tier 2 top. So not only do they come out on the bad side of the exchange, they lose the tower as well. And that's the inherent weakness when you're talking about Enigma in particular. Just such a long cooldown on the Black Hole. And here's Burning with his Ethereal Blade. Good Sprout. Manages to finish him off. DK has a little bit of ground to make up, but it's not as much ground as it, actually, never mind. Never even lost ground. Starting to dip up towards Na'Vi. Thought for sure Na'Vi had taken back the gold lead. Not the case. And Na'Vi, they're on the ropes right now. They can't afford to lose another fight. They really can't.
Yeah, if they lose another team fight, especially because they didn't even get the Aegis off Burning, I mean, that fight, 2 heroes almost got away with essentially no HP. They did manage to kill RTK in the end, but Dendy basically had to sacrifice himself for it. If that hero had just basically been dead, then he would never put himself in that situation. Plus, Long AD on Nature's Prophet got away with probably about 3% life. He probably had less than 100 HP in total, so a little bit unfortunate. Na'Vi had 2 kills that pretty much should have been for sure, one of which did end up happening, but it ended up costing them a hero of their own. And I mean, it's 13-9. They have the kill advantage, but everything else basically is going DK's way at this point.
Our Lycan is going to be building a Necro Book, which, and again, you and I are always kind of in and out on that, Dras. We talk about it. It seemed that Na'Vi wanted to get out and swing their fists early, do a lot of killing, a lot of ganking, a lot of smoking, what have you. It just really hasn't worked out for them. So going with the Necro Book, add some split push. It gives you a little bit in team fights as well. But you almost can't help but wonder if a BKB might have been a slightly better decision, given that they're about to, well, not about to, they are facing now a Burning with an Ethereal Blade. They're going to have to worry about him, and they're going to have to worry about DK hitting their stride at about the time Na'Vi should have been up.
Well, if you go for a BKB in the situation, it's kind of like abandoning your strategy. When you have a hero who's supposed to be split pushing and supposed to be applying a lot of pressure, Necronomicon helps significantly in that regard. He's still tanky, he's got 1,500 health, and they do have a Fissure, they have things like Decrepify, they have Shackle Shot, they have ways to stop him, but I don't really know if they have enough ways to stop him to warrant buying a BKB in the situation. Plus, if he does get the Necronomicon up, it's really good against heroes like Pugna because of the fact that you throw out the blast so often, and you're able to basically just accidentally kill one of the minions, and you take a lot of damage from that. So I think it's still an okay choice.
Both teams taking their time, and again, this feels very familiar. You get to a point that you know is a critical moment in a match on this stage in front of this packed house and in front of the thousands upon thousands of viewers online. Just not willing to take any chances whatsoever, playing very passively, making sure they have the items they feel are most essential to them. Lads is up, as is Necro Book now on Puppey. So Lycan should be a much bigger factor than he has been thus far. We'll just have to wait and see how they want to play it out. But just eyeballing it, just guesstimating, this guy right here is going to be the be-all, end-all. They need to pick and push Burning, or they need to wait for that Aegis and wait to fight at Roche again.
And we could see a potential fight at bottom 2. Tier 1 taking a lot of damage here. They might just have to concede it, but they're just going to go ahead and try to shackle
Puppey going to
instead.
caught with the shackle, takes a power shot right after.
Dire's bottom tower
No
has
follow-up,
been
though.
denied.
DK realizing they were outnumbered. Instead, TP's out now. Puppey just going to go ahead and head to mid, keep farming up.
Well, DK at a very dominant position still. They've taken all of the outer tier towers at this point of Na'Vi, and this is where you start to see that attrition effect come in. I mean, it's like you can't really farm your lanes that freely. We're going to see DK with a triple smoke, and it looks like they're going to run right into Na'Vi.
Na'Vi smoked up as well. They're actually going to double back. Na'Vi does the same thing. Run right at each other, then back out. Expecting to see the other team. They did not. Now just falling back. Dendi still smoked up. Not long, though. Only about a fifth of the time left. And Puppey just getting all the farm he wants. I mean, that's a good step. You want to make Lycan scary. Get him a full inventory. They're well on their way to doing that. DK hasn't given up quite yet. Smoke is about to expire. They have a chance to run on Puppey. Puppey's advancing. Zippo. Don't know if he spotted him. Yeah, they must have. Here we go. Four staff in. Shackle shot is going to latch. Long DD is there as well. Puppey fissured in. Look at the fissure, the drain, the echo slam. Focusing the Wolfman down. They're going to pick him off. Burning gets there just in time to congratulate and high-five the team. Na'Vi now pushing down mid. Seeing that gank, knowing they may be able to take a positional advantage. And yeah, we're just going to have AA TP back. So Na'Vi looked like they wanted to do something, but couldn't quite find the path.
Even without a BKB, they basically had to throw everything at Puppey just to take him down. They echoed him, they fissure blocked him, they shackled him, and they barely killed him with his ultimate move speed. And that's probably the reasoning behind not going a BKB. Is it's one thing to not be able to really attack throughout the entire team fight, but it's completely different if you're actually just going to die. And I don't think that BKB would have given him quite as much presence in the team fight that Necronomicon will once it gets level 3. But still, nonetheless, another great pick off for DK. It does prolong his book 3, which is one of the items that I think they're waiting for to try to make anything happen. And, of course, we also have Mr. Burning still with his Aegis.
Warriors of the wood.
Burning, staying safe, farming up, doing what he needs to do. 4-3-1. He's died a few times, but still has the most kills on his team. Only bested by AA on Leshrac, who has had a really outstanding game, all things considered. Yeah, we're just going to see him dive. Puppey. Puppey takes a lot of damage, manages to survive as we see the Morphling replicate out. Na'Vi in about as defensive a posture as you could ever see. Only moments now until Roshan respawns. And that's going to have to be it for Na'Vi, basically. They picked to fight it this time. We're at
Radiant's
30
top
minutes.
tower is
This is
under
when their
attack.
team should have been dominant. And really, they've been more or less quiet.
Well, it's just all due to DK's play again. They've done an excellent job of split pushing. Nature's Prophet's going to have a scythe for the next fight, too. And honestly, fighting around the Roche Pit is almost just as good for DK as it is for Na'Vi at this point. I mean, you have Echo Slam, you have Pugna with his ward, you have Morphling who does a pretty sizable amount of AoE, shackle shots, power shots, and everything like that. Of course, Na'Vi does have a slight advantage in that regard because they do have heroes like Puck and Enigma with the big ultimates, but they're so reliant on landing them that I think decent positioning from DK around the Roshan pit might be enough to just win them a team fight because of the fact that they have a lead at this point. And it's not a huge lead by any stretch. It's only about 3,000 or 4,000 gold, which honestly I was thinking was going to be a bit higher. But that just goes to show that Na'Vi is very efficient in their farming and has done a pretty good job of keeping themselves in this game.
With the Roshan so close, DK unwilling to just sit back. They're moving through the Radiant side jungle looking for a pick. They want to be at the advantage when the big guy spawns. Moving through. Oh, we may have a big convergence here in mid. Smoke is gone. ROTK moving up. And Puppey blows the ulti. Trying to bait it out. There we go. There's the wind run away. Burning's on the low ground. Dindy at the top. And Na'Vi basically just running. Puppey doesn't want to engage. There's a burrow strike that catches ROTK. Here comes Puck. BKBs are popped. Dindy's going to drop. Havost in trouble. He sprouted. Locked in place. DK gets 2 picks when they wanted it and needed it most. Not going to lie, Draskell, Na'Vi just felt like they were completely on different pages there. Some retreated, some stood to fight, and hell, we had Sand King engage.
Well, it was honestly a 3v5 for the first like 10 or 15 seconds because the rest of the heroes from DK were actually running there or teleporting in if you're a long DD in this case. But I mean, losing a team fight like that at this point in time is absolutely devastating. They're going to lose Roche for sure. There's nothing that they can do at all to contend this, and I think DK is pretty poised to just go ahead and run down mid.
Yeah, at this point, they played themselves into an unbelievable advantage. The gold doesn't tell the story. 4,000 gold, fine, whatever. And in fact, experience is favoring Na'Vi. But it's all about hitting your timing windows, all about capitalizing on what your team can do based on its composition. Burning with the Aegis up now, the Ethereal Blade, and a BKB. Also 2,200 gold in the bank. Not saying they're just going to run down mid and stomp. Na'Vi's got a lot of life left in them. And 1 or 2 big team fights could turn this all around. But as is, all the momentum rolling with DK.
It's going to be a tall order for sure. We're going to need milk black holes basically in this game, I think, to bring Na'Vi back from the brink of losing game number 2. But I mean, right.
Oh, there's an epicenter to lead off. Burning pops the BKB and loses the Aegis. That's a big step in the right direction for Na'Vi. Now falling back, Echo Slam was spent on nothing.
Literally for the Sand King.
Oh, but DK not willing to abandon the push yet. Long DD takes some damage. Here's a waveform in. Burning. Lost the Aegis, and here we go. Puppey gets shotgun, followed up by the Fissure. He's down, but Puck's there. We're going to see ROTK take the damage and drop as well. Burning super low. Arzart makes a run for it. Pipe is up. Waveform in, and they're going to be able to pick him off. 3 for 1 right now. DK still in business. Here at the Tier 3, Glyph expires. Continuing to bang down the tower, and they are going to go ahead and go for the racks. Na'Vi hanging around the backside. And down it goes. First melee racks off the map. Ranged racks next on the list. Down it goes. 20 seconds yet for Lycan and Leshrac to respond, and all they're going to find is a ruins of a middle lane.
That is, I mean, honestly, that's the best you could have expected Na'Vi to do in that situation. They even engaged outside the base to make sure that their tower wasn't going to take any free damage. They went for a big epi. They managed to take out Burning once and honestly dropped him below half of the second time. Unfortunately, Lycan caught a little bit out of position, maybe underestimating the adaptive strike and Ethereal Blade range just a bit. And of course, the Fissure was enough to get the kill. But I mean, DK, again, it's only 15 to 15 at 34 minutes, but DK has just been doing an excellent job. And it's also kind of funny because in game number 1, they committed a lot to getting Burning farm, and then when you just leave him alone, he just farms like a monster.
Yep. Seems to be the story. And as you point out, I mean, the gold difference finally starting to catch up with how far apart the game actually feels. In excess of 10,000 now separating these two squads. It doesn't matter, though. It's still Na'Vi. They've still got a chance. But DK, I mean, it's just at this point, they don't really have anyone that can hang and bang with Burning. He's already got his Manta. He's got the Ethereal. He's got the BKB. He'll be building towards his Scotty most certainly coming up next. When you take a look at the main physical damage dealer on the side of Na'Vi, you've got Puppey. He's got his Neckbook 3. He's got his Ogre Club, his Vlads, and his Medallion, but it's just not enough. Not right now.
Well, I mean, DK can pretty much do whatever they want at this point. They don't necessarily have to go push down another lane, although they could. They could just wait out another Roshan. It's going to be a while, though. They might be content to just go ahead and farm up between now and the next Rosh, which is probably roughly 7 minutes from this point. But actually, they're all smoked up here in the jungle, going to be protecting Burning. Maybe looking to bait him out a bit, but I think this is slightly obvious. They could just be going on a warding trip as well.
Moving down to the bottom side of the Radiant side jungle. Wards up, very, very offensive wards. And yeah, I mean, again, there's only so many ways to say it. Na'Vi, I mean, they don't really have the luxury of moving out of their base to try and force a fight. They could smoke and that's fine. I mean, that's always effective, usually. But they also run a big risk. If they smoke and it fails or they wind up on the bad side of an engagement, all of a sudden the game could be over. So Na'Vi, they are kind of clumping up here, moving towards what could be a typical smoke spot after they clear out these creeps. See if any's, yep, we got smoke on Light of Heaven. And looks like that's going to be the order of the day. Make or break moment for Na'Vi. They need to find someone. They need a pick and push right now very, very badly. Moving through their own jungle. DK splitting up, and Zippo's been spotted by the Wolves. Looks like he's going to be the #1 target. Havost, AA, the rest of the crew want to get this hero off the map. Oh, they're going to run on ROTK. He's burrow striked and immediately going to drop. They're going to get a gem for their trouble. Oh, and they're going to catch Zippo as well. Zippo making a run for the rune is going to be picked off. Big turnaround for Na'Vi, but it can't just be about the kills. They got to do something with it. Roche still down for a long time, so that's not going to be possible. It looks like they're just actually going to have to take the kills and then run back to defend.
This is such a hard game for Na'Vi, and if you look at the lanes right now, bottom, mid, and top are all pushed so far into Na'Vi's base, they literally cannot do anything. And this is kind of what I was saying earlier during mid-game, is like Nature's Prophet who goes Ags, and you have side lane pushers like Morphling who can just pop out a replicate, be it a team fight whenever he wants. He doesn't really even have to worry about sticking with his team. And then you have Pugna, who's a pretty good pusher as well. So this has pretty much just been the game, is just lane dominating, pushing it into Na'Vi the entire time. So even when they do lose a team fight, they're not really losing any more map control.
Right. Taking a look at the gold. It stopped the bleeding. Well, it slowed the bleeding. Not quite stopped it. But, I mean, again, Na'Vi's got all the tools that they could possibly want. They've got Epicenter. They've got all the initiation that comes from Puck. They've got Leshrac ready to deal mass amounts of AoE damage, and they have black holes for days and days coming out of Light and Heaven. But they have to have all the stars in line, as you pointed out. The lanes can't be pushed. They have to make sure it works. And really, it's probably just going to be a race. It's a hurry up and wait, basically, for Roshan. Get done what you can now. But the next fight at Roche is going to be the true make or break moment for Na'Vi. Either it works or it doesn't.
Well, if Puppey can get his BKB finished before the next team fight, that's going to help them significantly. He can get into a fight. Even heroes like Morphling, who are typically very hard to go on, is targetable because of the way that Necronomicon works. But since he does have a BKB, it's still a slight risk. Just the sheer damage output that hero can do to somebody in a short span of time is absolutely monstrous. So I feel like they do still have a chance. It's probably going to be around Roshan, like you said, in a couple more minutes, like 3.5, 4 minutes, give or take. And Long DD is going to be able to TP out bottom lane. Because of his BKB, Dendy can't really do anything about that, unfortunately. But he has a Scythe as well. So, I mean, Na'Vi is definitely not out of this by any stretch, and I'll be surprised if they don't want to try to take a team fight around Roche relatively soon.
We see Long DD looking to add a little bit of right-click damage. Just picked up a Maelstrom and just gives him more push as well. It's not even so much about him being a big damage dealer, but just what it does in terms of allowing him to continue to manipulate the map, keep these lanes pushed in monstrously, and keep Na'Vi on the back foot. And DK, who took as ugly a loss in game #1 as you're ever going to see at this level of competitive play, has shown so much mental fortitude in bouncing back. And despite being up against the team that should have gone absolutely berserk from the 15-minute to roughly the 25 to 30-minute mark, has instead just kind of, you don't want to use the word toyed, but they have completely controlled more or less the movements of Na'Vi and mitigated anything that they could do.
They just knew exactly how to play against it. I guess you could say one of the weaknesses of Navi's lineup is that you know exactly what its purpose is as soon as you see it. You're like, oh yeah, you're just going to try to run mid-game as hard as you can, try to push down lanes, get as much map control as you want, and then just end it. But fortunately for DK, they know exactly how to play against that, which is just split push everywhere. You have heroes like Nature's Prophet who can be all over the map. Morphling is no exception to that rule, as I had said earlier, and they just have done a phenomenal job of keeping Na'Vi basically back by virtue of pushing their lanes.
Puppey continuing to try to farm up. Looks like down here we are not going to have anything. Thought I saw someone moving around. Yep, we're going to see Na'Vi counter-warding now. Pugna has managed to pick up a Scythe of Ice. 17-15, current kill score. Taking a look at the gold once again. 12,000 gold differential separating these two squads, who I think both have resigned themselves to doing nothing but waiting for Roshan.
It's no real surprise. I mean, that's the next big engagement that's going to matter the most. If you don't want to try to fight outside of the base because there's no Roche, I'm not going to blame Na'Vi for that, especially because they're already a racks down, and it's hard enough for them to just walk out of their base without having creeps pretty much mowing it down at this point. And already having mid dead, I mean, that doesn't help matters either. So even getting to Roshan itself is going to be a little bit of a risk. I mean, even if they lose the fight, DK could just send their Nature's Prophet out, granted he lives through it, and just keep split pushing. I mean, it's just so difficult to come back from something like this.
Puppey doing what he can, trying to continue the farm up, trying to make sure he's a major factor. And again, he's been a factor in some ways, but whenever you see a Lycanthrope sneak his way through, you expect him to just be a monster on the map. It's why he's almost always banned. But really, DK deserves honorable mention just for having kept Puppey so under control to this point. Now Na'Vi moving into the dire side jungle, maybe looking to catch somebody out. Long DD, the closest one in range. Arzart in the lane as well. DD moves into the shop. We'll see if they're actually going to catch him or if he's going to, yeah, he's just kind of hanging for the moment. Wolves moving through, and here comes the TP. He's going to make it to safety, so they dodge a bullet there.
Well, they did smoke into Roche right here, and he's going to spawn right now, so DK is going to be in the Roche pit, and I do believe they have vision of it. Long Didi just walked right past the ward, so Na'Vi knows about this, but are they going to actually get here fast enough? I don't know. They don't have a medallion or anything like that, but Long Didi has a lot of right-click damage right now.
DK, they got the big guy down to about a fifth of his health. Yeah, there's no way.
Roshan has fallen to
Cheese
the
goes on to burning. Age is still on the
Radiant's
ground.
middle tower is under attack.
Yep, he picked it up.
Pugna picked it up this time.
There we go.
Cheese for Morphling, because that is the third Roche of the game. And just look at the lanes again. I mean, bottom was just like a triple wave right at their doorstep. Mid was getting pushed in. This is just a very, very difficult situation. I know I said that before, but I don't know really any other way to describe it. If you're in Navi's shoes, this is just a struggle.
Well, that entire fiasco there was a gross miscalculation. I mean, how do you... They were completely out of position when Roche spawned. They had to have known when Roche was going to be up. And to just be that far away, knowing that DK was going to be looking to take it as well, also knowing that DK has to this point been in utter and complete control of this game. It's hard to imagine they meant to be that far out of position.
I think they were maybe assuming that DK wouldn't just rush to Roche right away, and they might be able to get a pick and then take Roche themselves, which is one of the only ways they could actually get back into the game. If they had gotten Roche, gotten a pick off or something like that, they could potentially come back. But after having lost Roche and getting basically nothing out of it, I think DK is going to be hard-pressed to let this one go.
Burning and ROTK leading the charge down top lane. Na'Vi doing what they can. Clearing out creeps and illusions and so forth. Puppey farming up as best as he can. He's up to a BKB. BKB, solid item. Cheese, pretty solid. On a really well-farmed Burning as well. Take a look at the net worth. We can actually see Prophet at the top, followed closely by Morphling. 14,000, nearly 15,000 net worth for Lycan. But that is quite a big gulf between these heroes. And it shows. I mean, you just look in their inventory. Like, you look in Puppey's inventory and go, oh, okay, that's what he needs to play Lycan, but there's nothing there that is scary. Then you have Scythe of Ice, you have a pipe up on Windrunner, 4 staffs, Scythe of Ice as well, as mentioned, Ethereal Blade. It just, everything DK needs is more or less done.
Completely agree. I mean, DK's got everything in their arsenal right now. They could potentially just walk down mid and try to end it because of the fact that they're going to have Pugna now with 2 lives, Burning with 2 lives. Of course, you actually have to use the cheese for it to be effective, but I'm pretty sure he's a good enough player to know that he has to use cheese at a specific point in order for it to be effective. And, I mean, just look at their positioning. They're on Navi's side of the map. They're just killing their own Ancients. I don't know, man. Na'Vi, if they come back from this, they really are deserving of winning the first International 2, of course, and going far in this one as well.
15,000 gold differential separating these two squads. We've really hit a lull as both of these teams try to find some way to make this game their own. If DK wins, we'll have a game 3, our second in a row. If Na'Vi wins, they'll be advancing. Havo's going to be picked off. There's the side, there's the waveform, and everything at once drops him. DK has 60 seconds before he respawns. He does not have buyback. No, he's 100 gold short of buyback. So we'll see where DK wants to press. Looks to be top lane. And this is just that big advantage you get from always having the lanes pushed, Rascal. You get a pick, you're immediately in position no matter where you are.
This is why we see Nature's Prophet banned so often, because he gives you this effect. They're going to be pushing into this tier 3. There's really nothing that Na'Vi can do outside of amazing Blink Initiation, and that might not even be enough at this point.
Yep, tier 3 melts down. We've already got 1 set of racks down. Looks like we're not far from seeing 2. Lycan's there, but what are you going to do? And again, it's this situation. You have to defend your racks, but if you do, you die, and instead, it's a second set of racks. And DK looking like they may have just put this game out of reach.
2 racks down versus an Ags Furion, and the kind of map control that DK has this point, I don't think that Na'Vi is going to be coming back from this one.
One more team fight, perhaps. Yeah, it looks like they're chasing it down. They're going to catch Long DD. He's going to pop the BKB, use the scythe as well. There's a shackle shot. Locks him in place. Long DD just banging away. BKB's all over the place. Super and ROCK caught out. Good Sprout going to catch 2. Eat their way through. Super stays alive as a pig. We see Leshrac picked off. Puppey banging as much as he can. But it really just doesn't matter. Havost is there with his BKB. No epicenter to spin. Black Hole's going to catch everyone. But there's no one home. Light of Heaven hits an amazing black hole and dies because of it. Na'Vi calls the GG. We're going to a game 3, Seattle. DK and Na'Vi going the distance to see who's going to advance to the next round here in the winner's bracket.
Very well deserved by DK and Gamer 2. Honestly, this is just an outplay for me. I mean, they did everything perfect. I thought that Na'Vi was going to have some kind of a window, but because of the sheer amount of push, the draft was definitely good by DK as well. They split push Na'Vi apart over and over again, and there was nothing they could do to come back from it.
Very well played by DK. Game number 3 going to be heading your way. I'm AC, that's Draskell. Make sure you stick with us on Dota TV and stay in your seats here live in the hall. For now, let's throw it out to the analyst desk.
Okay, then, so a 1-1 scoreline. DK jump back into action, tie this one up. Na'Vi's lineup, a lot of people, sorry, no, let's say a lot of people, you guys, the guys over there, AC, and also Draskell say, yes, it was a mid-game strategy. It was a mid-game lineup.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they picked a massive Wombo combo, Enigma, Puck, SK. These are huge ultimates. They can decimate a team like literally instantly just with a good initiation. And then with the Lycanthrope, what you're looking for is you're looking for a lot of quick farm. You're looking for kind of that 4+1 mentality where the Lycanthrope's pushing towers, similar to how a Broodmother rolls. If you focus on the Lycanthrope, the other 4 can initiate on you and destroy you. If you fight the other 4, they're capable of fighting 4v5 with those heroes and Lycanthrope powering down towers. Unfortunately, didn't quite work that way.
Yeah, the Lycan never kicked in, whereas if you look over at the DK side, Morphling, well, he had a massive impact on the game.
Yeah, he did. Morphling just got really fat.
Well, and with DK's lineup, it's obviously worth mentioning, if you didn't see it, they just got stronger as the game went on, and we can actually take a look at how they just took down, I think it was the first Rax, but it was just, or even the second Rax, but I think it was the first.
Yeah, so we get a really solid
handle.
initiation here from Na'Vi. I mean, Havost hits 2 with an ultimate. They get the Aegis immediately after he uses BKB. So when he pops back up, he doesn't even have BKB up. So Burning is really kind of exposed here. The problem is they have nothing after that. They use the SK ultimate, and that's how they get that. All they're left there with is a black hole, and they really don't have an opportunity to hit that anywhere. Puck can try and get in there, but at this point, Puck's nukes don't really do a whole lot of damage. And I think, yeah, we see a shotgun here, and Puppey going down is really the end of this. They do get the racks. It takes a while for them to actually end the game. This is a really prolonged battle as the Pipe's doing a lot of work from DK here. But I think what really the story is, obviously Burning got really fat, but actually Eisky and Draskell mentioned this a little bit. Profit went for a very quick Midas. And that was a risky proposition. By getting that early Midas, you're basically saying, look, our Nitrous Profit isn't really going to do a whole lot when you decide to team fight us. Luckily for them, they never really got a great team fight, did Na'Vi, so DK didn't really get punished by that. And
what
obviously,
what do you credit that to?
ES and Windrunner, those two heroes are the perfect sort of counter initiators, the great sort of combo breaker for a team fight. Also great for stopping pushes. I mean, they had the Lycan, they were going for that sort of heavy push. But just ES and Windrunner, having the fissure, having the shackle shots flying in is always going to sort of ruin any combo that Na'Vi are trying to pull off.
there was even a situation at the Tier 2 tower in middle on the DK side where Na'Vi had an opportunity to potentially hit a black hole. The problem is Earthshake was just hanging out just off to the side there, and Light of Heaven saw him and identified, look, if I drop a black hole now, it's going to be wasted. And where he could have potentially got a 3-man black hole, ended up getting nothing and denied that push.
All right then, so Bruno, Statman Bruno, anything that stood out for you? How was Burning's GPM?
James, Burning was on fire. He was really well. We have to remember that he's the best farmer in this tournament and the best killer. He was okay, 938, 500 GPM, decent scoreline, not a bit below his average of 617, but he's still awesome. So the most important thing here, do you know what happens when DK picks Nature's Prophet and Morphling at the same time?
They win.
They
win
games.
5-0.
Oh, really?
5-0.
Combo kill. All right, yeah, interesting to know. So let's talk about the game that's coming up. We are, of course, going to go into the tiebreaker match. It's 1-1. One game left. The winner of this will move on into the semi-finals, guarantee themselves $25,000 here at day one of the International Dota 2 Championships. But, of course, we have to get there. So who do you think is going to take it, and what kind of advice or opinions do you have on the last game?
I still feel like Na'Vi can take this, though. Apparently, if DK just pick Morphling and Fury, they've got this no problem.
Well, I think we'll see DK continuing to ban at that Pudge, and it's going to come down to what hero they have Burning on and how they lane it. If they can get the right setup, I think they're going to be the ones actually taking Game 3, so I'm going to have to disagree with Nebula.
So, well, do you want to fight?
Yeah, I do want to fight. I think, honestly, DK should be a little sporting and not ban Pudge here, so I'm pretty sure the fans want to see
This is what I want to ask Bruno. What happens if Na'Vi get Pudge, but DK get Morphling and Nature's Prophet?
I think Phenol will have lots of trouble because the Valve servers will crash. No, let's hope not.
He said it here, the Valve servers are going to crash.
Do you really think they're going to ban out Pudge again?
Yeah,
Yes,
I think
they will.
100%.
But you know what? We might see Wisp.
I will bet you $10 they ban out Pudge right now.
All right.
I bet you 1,000.
You guys don't even have that money. So
whatever. It's an easy
do you want me to loan you?
Yeah,
for the
you
bet?
can loan me the money, and then I'll gamble it, and then I'll take your other money, too.
No, I wouldn't bet. You guys know more about way more about this than me.
The English language.
So, Bruno, you're saying Wisp could come in. Who for and
Wisp,
why?
Phantom Assassin. These has been the odd heroes that Na'Vi has been picking recently, along with Pudge, but we won't see any Pudge yet.
So you think Wisp?
Wisp, I'd like to see a Wisp.
I wanna
You
see some
guys?
PA. I want to see some PA. PA is a really awesome hero. Na'Vi use it very similar to how they use their anti-mage. They don't really look to just AFK Rice with it. They really like to get it in there, get with some battles, and go for it.
All right, and Gods, just before we throw it back to the game, any kind of predictions going in? Not so much on heroes, but who you think's going to take the last match?
It's going to be a race to pick anti-mage, I think. I think Na'Vi may want to go back to that game
Really?
when anti-mage they use and just implement a hard carry of their own once again.
Yep.
All right, well, we'll see if that's going to be the case then, because we're ready to go into game number 3 between Na'Vi and DK. A winner will move on to the winner bracket semi-finals. We'll find out who it will be as we go back over to the commentators.
And